Good morning, everybody. The world game, the beautiful game, is football, but not football as in the American or Australian sense, where they call it soccer. But the beautiful game is football, association football, and the biggest league in the world is, of course, the English Premier League. Although, of course, at the moment we've got, and most years we do have a Welsh representative in the Premier League. And one of the biggest clubs, Spurs, West Ham, to name but two, have both been managed, of course, by Harry Redknapp, very famous football manager. One of those few that, a bit like Brian Clough, never got to manage England, but maybe he should have done. Maybe he would have sorted things out with the national team. I remember hearing an interview with Harry Redknapp where he talks about how important he is, and he put it this way. He said that if I don't make it in work day for training, no problem. There's plenty of other coaches that can take over the training for that morning. They've got plans in place. And if one of the coaches isn't around, then they've, the main coaches, first team coaches, some of the youth team coaches and reserve team coaches, they could take over training. They've got plenty of staff. And if they don't turn up, if there's a mass epidemic of flu or something, then he knows that there's also the senior first team players. They know what to do. They would take over training. He said, but there's one man that handles all the kit. It doesn't matter if none of the top coaches, himself and all his coaches, if they don't turn up, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Somebody will take over. If the kit man doesn't turn up, then they are, to use a common expression, screwed. They are really knackered for the day. They can't do anything. In other words, it's not the people at the top that are important. It's everybody. Everybody as part of a team is important. And going by the title, all supporters are equal, and some supporters are more equal than others. Well, of course, that is completely ridiculous. All supporters are important. There isn't one supporter more important than anybody else. We've all been drawn into this case. We all see the horror of what has been done to Teresa Halbach, the Halbach family, the Dassey family, the Avery family. We can see the trouble that has been caused by law enforcement in that state. For whatever reason, they have chosen to go down that path. We all, as supporters, we all feel the pain equally. And I would really just like to pay tribute to everybody out there. I've had people, supporters, that have got in touch with me and said, Paul, I don't think you should have done this. I don't think you should have done that. And sometimes I might respectfully reply, well, I'm not really agreeing with you. I don't really agree with you on this, that, and the other. But we all get on. We all need to row and pull in the same direction. Is the support for Steve? Are the supporters going to make a difference? Well, I think eventually there will be a final straw that breaks the camel's back. But by what we say, not necessarily by what we do, just by showing that level of support. I find it curious that at times we maybe are too polite, more respectful sometimes to some of the guilters than we are to sometimes our own supporters. And as Eric Ose pointed out last night, we've got to work together. There's been too many times when Facebook groups have imploded on themselves. The main problem, of course, is that we all feel it. We all feel it so badly. It does. It sort of twists us up inside. The unfairness of it, the cruelty of it. It's interesting, isn't it, though, that we must be an important voice, because why would guilters get in touch with us and try and tell us that we're wrong? And the latest one is, well, basically the courts, it's their ball. Stephen Avery cases and Brendan, it's their ball, and they can play with it however they like, because they are the ones in charge. They are the opposition, but they're also the referee. And hopefully we'll start to see movement in that regard, and the courts will start seeing sense and taking the ball out of the state's hand and saying, no, this has to be done properly. We wait and see. Anyway, that's really all I've got time for. As I say, I've had conversations with people, not falling out with them, just differences of opinion. As I say, I appreciate that we're all pulling in the same direction, and I honestly do believe that there is no supporter of Stephen Brendan more important than anybody else. We are all equal in this. If it wasn't for every supporter out there, then things wouldn't be the way they are. As I say, to the extent whereby you've got guilters trying to persuade us that we've got it wrong, when we know perfectly well they're the ones that have got it wrong, and they are desperate to try and get us to change our minds. No way are we going to change our minds. We've seen the evidence for our own eyes. We've seen exactly what has happened. Okay, I must apologise. I was hoping to chat with Chad last night. Some of you might have noticed a video that I can't seem to be able to delete. It's still there floating around, as is the one from last week. I'm new to this live chatting, but I am very, very hopeful that Chad will be able to have a chat with me sometime soon. He prefers to go under the name of Lord Voldemort now. Nothing sinister. It's simply he who must not be named. And again, he's somebody that has divided one or two people. I would just point out, though, that his heart is well and truly in the right place. He is a very, very staunch supporter of Stephen Brendan. And I would just like to say this, if you don't like the message, don't shoot the messenger. If you don't like some of the things that he has to say, don't shoot him down. He's only presenting things that he's seen, things that he's researched. And so I think we've got an absolutely fantastic community of supporters. You are all just as important as one another. Anyway, we'll catch you again soon. Bye for now.